Saw the yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the Yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze. Saw the saw the yeah, grew up in a concrete jungle where dreams get lost in a haze.
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another Mets Roundtable podcast right here on multiple channels, multiple X accounts, and we are pumped up to talk about our New York Mets, our wild card team, New York Mets, as they are percentage points ahead of the San Diego Padres in that third wild card. And who would have thought, ladies and gentlemen, that 7 weeks ago, the New York Mets were 11 games under 500, down in the dumps. Hector lost all of his hair off his head. And now the Mets are 2 games over 500, playing their best baseball of the season over this last 6-7 weeks of just great baseball. And I'll tell you this right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pumped, Hector's pumped, Chris is pumped, and Hayden's pumped, even though he's not here. But we're going to be talking about a Nats sweep at Citi Field, and what a way to start off the homestand. 3-0 in the homestand, getting ready for Colorado. But first, we're going to talk about the sweep of the Nationals. Hector, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing great. How can you be doing? But great right now, the way this team is playing. Hope you guys are doing well, and it's about time we're back, man. I missed you guys. So happy to be here. Happy with the way our team is performing, and excited to do this.
Yep, absolutely. We're ready to go, definitely. And Chris, I just saw you on the post game, but now we have a full round, almost a full round table to talk all about Mets hot stuff. How you doing, CP?
I love to get different perspectives about this team, man. You know, we had Nick on the post game, and now we get to talk to our main guy, Hector, about this team. Listen, the round table is always a pleasure. It's a shame that we don't have Hayden here, but like Hector just said, you can't, like, what can we possibly complain about right now other than Adam Ottavino? This is good times in Mets land. Like, we're a playoff team right now, officially. Something that we did not think, or at least I personally did not think was possible just maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. So more power to them, more power to this team, this organization. Let's get it going.
Yep, absolutely. And we're definitely going to start off with the National Series and Game 3, Mets 7-0. You know, besides Ottavino making it very interesting in the ninth inning, the Mets had a ho-hum victory, and that's a nice way to end the sweep, right? No biting of the nails, no worrying about losing a ball game. It just seemed like the Mets are always in control today with the Nimmo 2-out, 3 RBI double to get them started in the fifth inning, and they kept on rolling from there. JD Martinez came through. Pete Alonso came through. Everybody was just doing what they needed to do today. And then we're going to start with David Peterson because he had another hell of a performance, another shutout game where I think we're still questioning if he's going to be in the rotation long term, as we talked about in the post game, Chris. But Hector, I'm going to start with you. Just how did you feel today, knowing that this was going to be somewhat of an easy victory, and it started with David Peterson, then it went to Danny Young, Nunez, then your favorite guy, Ottavino. How you felt, buddy?
You know how I felt. I was frustrated as hell. I was frustrated. For me, in my opinion, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But when you have a game like you had today, and it's going the way it's going, the last thing I expect to see is Daniel Nunez come in that game. You know what I'm saying? The last thing I expect to see is Edwin Diaz have to get up in the bullpen in the ninth inning because guys can't get it done. This is a game because of the way that he's played himself into it. If he's gonna pitch at all, it's for Ottavino to come in there and get the job done. You know what I'm saying? But even you don't trust. And then you have this kid, Danny Young, whom everybody was going nuts when they turned him down that first time. The guy had a good cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? And whatever. But he hasn't been able to get the job done lately. And no, so I was frustrated because it's like, no, what are we doing here? This is supposed to be a nice, easy victory where, and I don't know who else was available in the bullpen today. But where maybe you bring in one guy and he just finishes it off. You know what I'm saying? Like they've done in some games. The only positive is, and yeah, Steve, just put it up as I'm thinking about it too, was Maton. You know, he looked great. He was great. And, I mentioned in one of my posts, one of the people I talked to my ex, like you guys probably know, big Astros fans, Jules, kept telling me, like, yo, this is a good pickup for you guys. You just got to be sure that you guys use him in the right spot. He's more of a bridge guy. He's not like he's not a setup man or anything like that. So hopefully you guys use him in the right spot. And that looks like to be today, like that was a spot that he'll be using, right? That was like a bridge spot. But it should have been a bridge spot to Danny Young and Ottavino finishing it off. Not to having to bring Nunez in and then having to get freaking Edwin Diaz up. But you know what? We take the victory. We run with it. And we worry about that another time. But I'm done with Ottavino, honestly. Like, he might figure it out. And listen, every time we said I was watching back some of our stuff just to see what we've been talking about it. And you just remember, right? But every time we say we're done with somebody, CP, remember how we were done with Quintana? I was ticking and all of that stuff. I was watching that and I was like, oh my gosh, as this guy shut us up. But hey, like I always say, I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right about stuff like that. But out of Stinko, I feel I'm right. But yeah, listen, it felt a little dirty, but you take it, man. Take a shower and I feel good.
Hey, you can't spell Mets without dirty, baby. That's what I'm saying. So,
and Patty's right. I was done with Ottavino in 2020. I've been done with Ottavino for a while because to me it's always like People all look at his numbers. And listen, I had this conversation with a lot of people. And I all look, and I'm like, listen, whenever you need this guy to step up, I don't give a damn what he's done. It's gonna be that time. It doesn't matter. Like, it could be that game because you're gonna be able to gain on somebody because that other team is losing that night. It could be you've lost 2 in a row, and damn it, we can't lose 3. And we got this lead, and we don't even know how we got it right now, but we got to hold on to it. And we don't have everybody available in the bullpen, maybe not even our closer. Otto, we need you to step up. Boom, he's going to blow it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and he could have had it. Oh, but Hector, you're going to ignore the 3 games before that? They don't matter to me. They don't matter to me when I'm asking you to step up right here, and you can't do it. And to me, that's always going to be the case with Ottavino until he shows otherwise. And honestly, I'm at the point that I don't even want to see him show me otherwise. I want him to go what I have going on right now in the background, BNNY, and go hang out with Sal and these people. You know what I'm saying? Go talk trash over there. They enjoyed his time there, and he enjoyed it too. He should have stayed there, not go back there. Work it out with SNY. Pay him the rest of his money for going to SNY. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be something like that. But yeah, I mean, if there's a gripe we can have with this team is that they're using, pitchers in the bullpen in spots where they don't need to be able to come in because guys aren't getting it done. Danny Young could have finished the game. Danny Young could have, got 2 innings, and that couldn't happen because he was walking the ballpark, and it led to Nunez with the bases loaded, getting the guy out. And then, Ottavino comes in mop-up duty, or at least we thought it was mop-up duty, and he made it very interesting, throwing almost 30 pitches in the ninth to get it done, But, Chris, we talked about it a lot when it came to Ottavino, about the bullpen in general. It's getting to the point now where it's like it's getting to the point where you're really excited, where you understand that the belief, not just from the fans, because that's starting to happen. That bandwagon is getting awfully full rather quickly, but it's the organization believing. It is the team that was believing a couple of weeks ago when nobody really believed in them enough, and they believed in themselves. So how is your feeling about this team over the course of a month and a half? I mean, it's a complete 180 with this team, from fan base to organization to the team itself.
Yeah, I mean, you can point to a lot of factors. I think JD Martinez is the tip of the iceberg in those factors, right? He came into this organization after getting, I guess he did an extended spring training in the minor leagues, and you started to see the approaches, the at-bats get a little bit better. You start to hear stories of JD Martinez, right? Leading by example, not only in batting practice and his results on field, but also having individual conversations with these guys, in addition to what they're hearing from the hitting coaches. However, they're valuing the hitting coach's opinions. It doesn't matter. Obviously, they value JD Martinez's input, as they should, because he's one of the better hitters in this league, pure hitters, gap to gap. Then it's Francisco Lindor calling like that players meeting, right? Gets the approval from Mr. Adam Ottavino himself, who's one of the more respected veterans on this team, unfortunately, right? And that might be the case for why, Rob, you think he might stay around this team, like we talked about in the post game. But regardless, that team meeting happens, and this team is night and day different in terms of their mentality. And I'm not even talking about the results, because wins and losses, right, are clear as day, different than what they were getting before. But I'm talking about the actual processes of the team. I'm talking about going after pitchers as a hitter in this lineup, not letting those strikes early in the count and hitters' counts go by. Sometimes they would let those go by early in the season. It's all situational, like we said, but you see Brandon Nimmo starting to hit 1-0 pitches, right? He's starting to swing at those. Francisco Lindor today swinging 3-0 because he has that confidence. He's feeling good. He thinks he's going to catch the pitcher by surprise. Brandon Nimmo did that in the Pirates series. So, I'm seeing selective aggression, and I'm not seeing timidness. Now, whatever selective aggression and the results, right, of the processes that I'm seeing with the lineup, I wish they would transfer over to guys like a Danny Young. I wish they would transfer over to a guy like Adam Ottavino, because you look at the differences in the bullpen with those guys, and you can lump in a couple other guys in that category, right? But I'm talking about Danny Young and Adam Ottavino in particular. It could apply to maybe a Sean Manaea or David Peterson as well, but they do not attack hitters enough for my liking. And that's when you start to get the walks. You look at Daniel Nunez coming in, getting that out today. What does he do? He goes out there and he attacks hitters. He doesn't try to beat around the strike zone. And I think that's the problem, that these relievers, they're trying to get too cute. Adam Ottavino with his sweepers. Listen, dude, you got a 95, 96 mile per hour fastball. You throw 2 sweepers that are nowhere close in the zone. Jake Diekman is the other name that I wanted to say. He does the same damn thing. Throw strikes. If you're a professional, I gotta think you got to this stage by throwing strikes. And in a 7-0 ball game, for you to go out there and do what Adam Ottavino did today, it's a disgrace. So I really think these relievers should take a page out of the Mets lineup. And I know it's completely different things, hitting a baseball versus throwing it, but I'm talking about the selective aggression in which they go about doing their daily routines and their daily jobs. And it's something that's a tale of two tapes right now, in my opinion. But overall, to answer your question, and the long way about it that I just gave, I'm very ecstatic. I think every Mets fan should be ecstatic, whether you believed in this team before or you didn't. It doesn't matter. We still root for these guys at the end of the day, or at least most of us. Some other fans go out there and they choose to come in when the Mets are losing, and then they go quiet when the Mets start winning. Oh, yeah, we get it. Some people fan different ways. Understood. But if you are sitting here and there is not a smile on your face because the New York Mets are officially in the wild card spot, you got exactly, right? Exactly. Like, I don't know if I could call you a Mets fan at that point. Like, what are we doing here? Let's go Mets. This is a great feeling for everybody.
Exactly.
Rob, can I say something real quick? Real quick. 2 things real quick. First of all, CP, love the shirt. Let's go Knicks, baby. Second thing, Rob, I don't know if everybody can see everybody's comment depending on what channel you're watching. Some of these zingers, you got to put them up. We're all good enough. We're not going to get distracted. But I'm here laughing because EB got me crying. A couple of other guys are making good comments. You got to just pop those up for everybody to see in case they're not, you know what I'm saying? They can't see it on YouTube or whatever. But keep it up, guys, because I love it. This is beautiful.
I'm trying to find the comment. It's going crazy. I have to scroll through it. But basically, I asked Ibby, how hard can you throw? And he said, what did he say? Oh, now I can
throw about 80 right now. But
so
yeah, go ahead.
he's no different than Otta. I'll bring the vibes at least. And then I said, OMG, dancing on the mound to fool the hitter. Who needs Hefton when you got Ibby? So that was the whole setup right there. Why heck laughing? So yeah, Chris, you're 100% right. And it goes with the mentality, right? Is like, how are you going to approach it? No matter if you're the bullpen, the starters, or the lineup, right? You gotta approach it in a way that, you know what I think it is? I think they've become more aggressive. I don't know if that's the right word, but I feel like as a roster, they became more aggressive. The starters have been more aggressive. Even though the bullpen has been bad, the guys that you needed to come through, the big arms, or at least the couple of arms that you can trust, have been more aggressive because they had to be. The lineup is not afraid of swinging 3-0. Chris, you brought that up in the post game. Like, I actually thought that he was going to jump out of his shoes swinging 3-0. I think it was Lindor who did that. Like, the confidence level is through the roof with this team and almost every player on this roster, at least the lineup. And they're not afraid anymore. Like, they seem like they shied away from the big moment. They're not shying away anymore. Everybody wants to be in the moment. Every guy who comes to the plate saying, this is my time, I'm going to get that big RBI. That's the way it's starting to feel. When somebody's not getting it done, somebody's right there to pick them back up. And that's something that we have not seen early on in the season. Nobody picked each other up. When everybody was doing bad, we wanted somebody to step up. We always brought up Lindor, who was struggling early on, or Pete Alonso, right? We always brought those two guys up. Why? Because they make a difference. That's why we keep on bringing it up. And you know what? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's all those guys. But right now, you see what happens when the majority of your big boys are performing. And they're performing at a level where I expected, well, I can't say I expected, but where I think they believe that they had another level. Look, Lindor's on another level. Lindor's on a Cleveland level right now. Nimmo is having his best season of his career. And that's not including JD Martinez, who cooled off a little bit, but was one of the hottest players on the Mets, in the Mets lineup for 3 weeks. And even Pete Alonso, even though he still haven't hit his peak, has still been pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. And it's been amazing because you got the Alvarez who's doing his job, Vientos, who's been a guy who's took over the third base job and has been outstanding. And you go on and on. Bader has been clutch, right? Even, with the Marte injury, we thought that was going to be a huge problem. It kind of has been, but Tyron Taylor has been doing a serviceable job. People have been stepping up. Now, it would be nice if more guys in the bullpen stepped up, but, at some point, look, Maton came in, right? They didn't look like he even just joined the team yesterday. He looked like he was there. He just came in throwing some nasty ass curveballs and ready to go. I think Chris popped off for a second, but Hector, that is the beautiful thing about this team right now is that if one guy don't get it done, the next guy does, and that's something that we bitched and moaned about it for months. This team needs to start doing that. Somebody needs to pick up the slack. If somebody's not doing something, pick it up. And I think that's the best part. When it comes to this Mets team right now, they're picking each other up big time.
No, absolutely. Oh, and I'm glad CP is back because I kind of want to touch on something, that he's been talking about a lot of stuff, and I think we got to be like a little bit clear on it, right? And even what you're saying now, right, about these guys picking each other up and stuff, and I think it's more now. I don't want to say they didn't trust each other before, but they really trust each other now, and they accepted where they were, right? And we go back to the team meeting. And we know everything that they said in the team meeting. Nobody cares. Nobody thinks we're going to be any good anyway. So let's just go out there and have fun and let it ride. And that helped them to loosen up. I think, to me, you guys heard me say it a million times, the team needed somebody to bring everybody together, right? To loosen things up, to make everybody laugh, to make McNeil and Lindor actually laugh at something together. You know what I'm saying? And I think the addition of Iglesias brought that. Even Terrence to a certain extent. But we know that Iglesias brought that. And now we saw it with the song, the performance, and now the sign and all that good stuff, right? So you see all that. So I think all of that matters, and all of that leads to more comfort. You have success, you feel better, and it leads to trusting guys too. You know what I mean? So when Nimmo gets a couple of winning hits, you trust Brandon Nimmo, even though you trusted him before, but now he's hot. Now he's doing what we expect. Francisco Lindor takes off in the leadoff spot, you know what I'm saying? And so on and so forth. The bottom of the lineup has been getting it done, so we already trusted them because they're the reason why we were even floating or whatever. We were, whatever the heck it's called, right? But I think something, going back to what CP was saying before too, is the whole, now they're swinging first pitch. Now they're doing this. They were doing it before, guys. There just wasn't that success there. How many times did we come in, or did you guys come into a post game, or I came and did my little thing, or I saw comments, why is this guy swinging first pitch when this guy just walked two hitters? And Lindor pops it up, and then Pete comes and pops it up first pitch too. And it's like, oh my gosh, what are we doing here? Or second pitch, you know what I'm saying? Why didn't you work the count? But because it wasn't working. So when there's success and everything looks good, you know what I mean? It's the same. I say it's always about situation. You know what I mean? Sometimes, yeah, the guy could have walked two guys, but there's a mound visit. Whether it be the catcher or the hitting or the pitching coach coming out, it doesn't matter. You know that after that mound visit, he wants to throw a strike. So is that a good time to go first pitch swinging, even though he's thrown 8 balls in a row? Absolutely. But if you don't get a hit, you'll be like, darn it, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing there? You know what I'm saying? Maybe you should have worked the count. No. It's like David Stern said early in the season. I forget what the situation was, but he was like, yo, just because the result is not good doesn't mean the process wasn't good or the decision wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think we need to be a little bit careful and yeah, the approach has changed a little bit overall as a team. We know now they're staying smaller. And you know what I want to say? Forget about all that. I want to ask you guys something about, because I was thinking about this earlier. You know how now they have in the hitters meetings, they've told us, right, that they say, okay, what's your approach today? What are you trying to accomplish today? Rob, what are you trying to accomplish today? Heck, what are you trying to accomplish today? And we all give out what we're trying to do, right? I wonder still, and we just said Pete has done well. I would love to know what the hell Pete says pregame his approach is going to be, and what the hell he says after the game when once again he swung at that slider in the left-handed batter's box. Because he should say, guys, today I'm gonna really try to stay away from that slider.
Yeah.
I'm really gonna try to stay away from that slider and not. And then I would love anyways, but yeah, but just
that first at bat from Pete looked like he was guessing major. That was a really bad at bat. That he was chasing, and that was a situation where you really hope Pete Alonso comes through. And I agree with you. If he says anything, it should be not chasing that slider down and out, because that is his absolute weakness right now.
So after every game, he just must come back and be like, "My bad, guys."
Yeah, at first at bat did look like he was guessing. You took the words right out of my mouth. I said, I looked at it, I was like, "Oh, Pete, man, that did not look good." Like, he has these at bats where like it's like he goes up there and doesn't have a plan. Like swing at whatever he can. Like that's sometimes I feel like that, and it's like I know that's probably always been his motto or his plan, like just to see the ball, hit the ball. But I mean, you got to see the ball out of hand. Like if you can't still at this point in your career,
hitting ball. That's the thing. I think he's guessing. I think he's.
Well, that's a problem. It's not even that he's slumping. Like he's been okay. He's been decent. But like it just seems like it's like a mind.
There was a game. I forget, like 2-3 games ago, right? I forget who was pitching, whatever the case may be. And again, I think there was a walk, maybe 2 right before him. Whoever the hell was pitching could not throw the slider for a strike, bro. They was not throwing it, and he even got behind on Pete in the count. The count got everybody. My little nephew, 3 years old, doesn't know shit. He knew they were throwing Pete that slider there. You understand what I'm saying? And to me, it seemed like Pete didn't think that. He must have been thinking fastball, and he's thinking it's 3-2. I got men on base. Still, at this time, where the team is doing well, and we're talking about trusting each other and passing the baton, Pete is still the only one that worries me that still goes up there and tries to hit that bomb all the time because he wants to come through. Not because he wants to hit the home run. He just wants to come through. He doesn't know how to come through. Like, yo, dude, just get the base hit. Bro, and he swung at that 3-2 pitch where it was like, yo, this guy was swinging no matter what. He didn't see ball hit the ball because there's no way that you saw that pitch come out of the pitcher's hands and thought that was a strike. I'm sorry. Not if you've been watching this game, not if you've been paying attention in your own at bat. You have to be thinking already, okay, listen, if he throws me the slider and I see that this release point, I'm not swinging at that shit. If it lands for a strike, kudos to him. The only way I'm swinging, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, Pete, man. I shouldn't be talking this kind of hitting, man. You know better than this. But no, he was just swinging because it's 3-2 and I want to get it done. Ball over there.
Well,
that goes Pete shaking his head. And so am I at home.
And, heck, that's the issue with Pete Alonso. And I brought this up a couple of post games ago when Pete Alonso.
A positive freaking thing. Get me off with this crap.
Well, I didn't even bring it up. That's the even best.
That's what I'm saying. Get me off with this topic. Come on, CP.
You started me up now. You started me up like, oh, Pete Alonso talk. Let's go. Like,
man.
Look, but you know what's the frustrating thing is that when there's runners on base, he tries to do too much, and it's obvious to everybody. Everybody, like, just flick it to right field. The outside pitch, flick it to right field. Get the base hit. Get that RBI that might be in scoring position, or move the runners over. Hit the ball to right field. Get the runner the first to third. Something like that. Like, there hasn't been enough productive at bats, even if it's not a home run or RBI situations. Productive at bats. Move the runners over. Do something productive. I feel like if Pete Alonso's not hitting the ball over the wall, he's not productive. Like today, I like that at bat when he got that base hit down the third baseline. I like that approach. Like he looked like he wasn't trying to
already up 4-0, right? You want to see that a little bit earlier. That's the thing right there. We would love to see that a little bit earlier. It comes when it's 4-0, but it is what it is.
But Hector, how long have I been saying that? That's been the trend.
I know.
But you know what I'm saying? It's not
this
being
year's a little bit. This year's a little bit more than most, But
yeah, I understand that. But see, I was making a point and proving the fact that this is not something that I'm just being delusional with. This is more, and you know what it is? Everybody's hot right now, and when Pete Alonso is the one that's kind of on the back burner and not really as productive as his other guys at the top of the lineup, Now people are seeing it because it's obvious. Nobody's confident in Pete Alonso with people on base right now. I'm confident with Nimmo, Lindor, even Martinez, and even Vientos. That's why it's obvious to more people and why more people are bringing it up. When I was getting crucified a month ago, when this is what Pete Alonso's career, go back and look at it. This is what he's done. It's just that he did it. He hit a lot more home runs, and this is the problem too. His home runs are way down per at bat. I think he's up to like 12 to 13 at bats per home run.
He hasn't hit a home run at least in the last 7 games. He hasn't hit.
Yeah, he has to get that that home runs per at bat down because
Rob, when you look at the game yesterday in the 6th inning with JD Martinez on first, when he stretched it to third, like that's a classic example of Pete hitting the right center field gap, not trying to do too much like today.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. It's like I know Pete can do that. We all know Pete can do that.
That's why I'm so frustrated because when he did that, I was like, thank you. That's what you got to do. He starts even flicking that ball to right field, not even with a lot of power, just flicking it to right field, getting the bat on the ball, and just, when you hit the ball the opposite way, what do? You have more of a leveled swing. That's when Pete Alonso's at his best. Pete Alonso is not at his best when he pulls the ball to left field. It's when he's driving it to right center. That's the best approach for Pete Alonso. And then the power and the pull approach comes naturally once he's driving that ball to right center. He hasn't done that enough this year, and it's so frustrating because we know he can do it. But what is it the last 2 seasons that is not making him do it? Is it the contract on his mind? Is it now the criticism that people are giving him that he never got before? I don't know, but it's got to change because I'm going to be honest. As good as this team has played, this team will not be going anywhere if Pete Alonso doesn't get to this next level. They might make a run, might make the playoffs, but they need him along with the other guys that are doing their jobs at the top of the order to make this run. Pete Alonso needs to be on that next level that we know he can get. He just has to get there. And it's 92 games in. Where is it? That's the problem.
Absolutely. And to try to move this along, Rob, but again, just to try to get to more positive things, and I don't know which way you want to take it, but to kind of move off of this Pete Alonso thing, but we do have to touch the elephant in the room, whatever you want to call it, right? And the report today by Jim Bowden about who was it?
That's odd.
What team was
Jim
it?
Bowden of the Athletic,
yeah, Jim Bowden, that Houston, whatever. Listen, I'm gonna say this. Pete Alonso's in the last year of his contract, right? Mm-hmm. We all know that. We just went through all our frustrations with Pete Alonso. I love Pete Alonso. It is still my wish that the Mets somehow, some way, figure out a way to keep Pete Alonso around here long term. We could talk about the future is the best. I want Pete Alonso here. I don't think our future is as distant as everybody thinks it is. Yeah. Where I have to wait till 25 and 26 and beyond. And I think this team is showing that right now. This team is finally showing that right now. Yes, it started bad. But Pete is in the last year of his contract. He has no talk. It looks like there's no agreement point or whatever. It looks like they fought, or whatever you want to say. It is not the first guy. It won't be the last guy where there's going to be speculation about whether the team should move him or not. Right. If the Mets call a team looking for bullpen help right now, looking for whatever the hell the Mets want to look for, doesn't matter what it is, that team is going to responsibly say, yeah, okay, that's what you guys are looking for. Oh, okay. We may or may not have that. However that conversation goes. Before that phone is hung up, that team is irresponsible if they don't say, hey, listen.
Correct.
What are you guys thinking about Pete? We just want to know. Are you guys really interested in trading Pete? Would you guys be interested? We just want to let you know that we'd be interested in talk. That's it. That's what they're supposed to do. And the Mets are going to say whatever they say. I hope is, listen, right now, we're focused on winning. We think Pete could be a part of that. We're not looking to trade Pete, whatever the hell it is. But please, ladies and gentlemen, do not get bent out of shape because Jim Bowden, Bob Nightingale, Andy Martino, or anybody else says that X team asked about Pete. Everybody's going to ask about Pete, just like everybody was asking about Shohei Ohtani. and I said this last year, right? If you were someone who was saying that the Angels were irresponsible last year for not listening on Ohtani and for then ultimately keeping him, and you can tell me, oh, but the Mets are in a different situation right now. Whatever the hell you want to tell me. My point is, it's not a big deal. Until Pete is traded, I'm not paying attention to none of that nonsense. Okay? Right now, like my guy Brandon Nimmo says, we know where this team needs help, and we want to be biased.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to say about Pete.
You know,
We heard it last year. We heard it
Deadline,
last season with Pete
nonsense.
too at the deadline. They were taking the calls on him. There's no harm, no foul taking
But
calls.
even that, CP, when people say you take calls, it's not like if they put out a feed or like, oh, tell us what you want to give us for Pete. It's not
It's
even
his
that,
job.
right? It's just like I said, it could be by chance. The
Yeah,
Mets could call
it's-
about
yeah.
something else. So just because I got you on the phone, you're gonna say,
Right.
hey, just in case, how about Pete? Does that really mean that the Mets are taking calls, or just that people
well,
are
you're
gonna
not doing
ask?
your job
And
if you're
people
not
may
listening.
ask on their own. There might be teams that may, because again, he's gonna be a free agent. So that some people feel the responsible thing to do is don't let him walk away for nothing. You got to get something, even though there's a qualifying offer. We know that, right? But some people feel like, no, you got to go out there and make a trade. So some teams may call on their own.
Listen,
say,
Jim
hey,
Bowden
take
spent the
the interest.
entire offseason basically shitting on David Stearns and the Mets payroll. I'm
Correct.
not going to listen to a lick of what he says about Pete Alonso on
even know
July
that.
11th when there were 3
Yes.
weeks out of the trade deadline. A
Yeah,
lick of what he
I
said.
wouldn't even know that. But
was
I know
just
that
gonna
that was
say-
a report that people were
Right.
reacting to
Yeah,
today.
but
And it's
you know-
only responsible for us to talk about it because we
But-
are going to talk about hostile trade, whatever the hell, deadline and all that.
Chris is 100% right because Jim Bowden shitted on Stearns and the Mets and their offseason and the lack of, hype around their offseason and, kind of being competitive or whatever you wanted to call it, right? And this asshole, I'm sorry, he is, puts up a report like this when the Mets are doing well right in a wild card spot. This happened, not too long after the game? This report came out? This is when you're going to write that? You could have wrote that when they were 11 games under 500. But you're going to bring that up now when this team is in the right direction, where the chemistry is high, where this team loves each other right now, and they're playing their best baseball of the season, and you bring this shit up now? It has nothing to do with the deadline. He has he has some type of agenda against the Mets or something against the Mets just to try to ruffle some feathers in that clubhouse and in the organization because he didn't get his way as a reporter. I'm done with reporters. This offseason was the fucking disaster with reporters. How many breaking news nonsense were they wrong on? How many rumors were they wrong on? They were wrong on everything. Nothing they said was right. And then they're coming out with this nonsense. Why now? Why did you have to write a report? There's a lot of other teams you could have wrote. He works for the
told you right now, though, Rob. He's just the first one. He's just the first one. And you guys may be right that he hates the Mets and all of this stuff, but you can't say that about everybody that's going to write this same kind of stuff. This is just the first one, guys. Unless they come out and do an extension, and it's not just Pete, it's anybody. You're going to hear about the Benayas, the Severinos. You're going to hear all about it. I get bent out of shape. All we need, like I said,
he pinpointed Alonso on purpose.
Of course.
It's the fan favorite. That's the reason why.
Of course.
That's why he is an asshole. And I hope he hears this somehow.
But he's not
because it's a joke. This team's riding high. The fan base is believing. The organization is believing. The team is believing in one another. And this idiot has to put up a report because he has nothing to write about in baseball. Write about Wander Franco, who just got charged in the Dominican Republic. That's more important than worrying about a Pete Alonso trade. That probably is not going to happen.
That's a great point.
Right? I mean, come on. There's a lot of other nonsense to write about in baseball that you can write about. How about the Yankees falling apart? Sorry.
Nobody wants to write about that.
You can't write about that.
Point.
You can't write about that. Because it's the pinstripes. Fuck them.
The Yankees wish they were playing Queens baseball right now.
Yeah. All right, guys. So let's jump to the topics together.
As Patty says, let's move the hell on.
Yes. The Rocky series. Look, the Mets against the Rockies, right? On paper, looks like an overmatch. But you never know. It's baseball. But the pitching matchups are on your screen. Gordon, Felton, Quantrill for the Rockies, Manaea, Scott, and Quintana for the Mets. All of these guys have pitched well. Manaea and Quintana specifically. Scott, second start. 2 starts so far. Not going to go crazy. He's pitched pretty good. Couple of speed bumps here and there, but he pitched well, right? All these guys have been pitching well, right? At least 2 out of 3, as we talked about on the post game, Chris. 2 out of 3 at the minimum. A sweep is being greedy, but there's no reason why we can't. Like, you would think the Nationals are probably a better team than the Rockies. You got to sweep them. Now, 2 out of 3, I'm not going to go crazy. A 5-1 homestand, you get a couple of games over 500 to end this first half, more than what anybody expected. And that's what we should take that. But to link the bullpen and this Rocky series, right? Because I think it's going to be very interesting how Mendoza works with these pitchers. We talked about, Manaea, he's been a little, I believe he was injured last year as well. That was a concern. And Quintana came back from injury last year. So you got to manage these guys, just like they're going to manage Scott's pitch count in his limit, right? This series, they're going to manage it. I wonder how Mendoza is going to treat this, right? Is he going to use this bullpen a little bit more in his series to protect these guys, all 3 of these guys, because these are the guys you're going to be trusted, regardless if one of these guys is going to go to the bullpen or not, in Manaea or Quintana, and one's going to remain, but you're going to be counting on these guys. So, Chris, I'm going to start with you. Do you think Mendoza is going to do something different in this series with these starters, knowing that you're going to need these guys going forward in the second half? What do you think is going to happen so we can link the series and the bullpen with managing these guys going forward?
I don't think we're in a position as the Mets organization, right, as far as they're concerned, to play around and start treating these guys different when it's like crunch time in the NL wildcard race. I don't think anything is going to be different. I think Christian Scott, they're going to either impose a pitch count on him or they're not. And we see how that worked out when you try to do something different by getting Scott out of the ball game and out shy of where he was supposed to be at. Now, like I said, that's a whole different topic. Pitch counts are pitch counts. There's predetermined. I understand that. But when you start playing around like that and it ends up poorly for you, conversations will be had within this fan base, within this organization, etc. And I do think that Carlos Mendoza, for that decision in particular, took some unnecessary flack because that definitely wasn't his decision to pull Christian Scott. But I digress. I say, you have a break coming up. After this Rockies series, it's going to be the All-Star break. You try to get the sweep, and you let these pitchers go as far as they can, with the exception of Christian Scott. Naya, if he is dealing and he's out there in the 8th inning, so be it. The 6-man rotation is going to come after the All-Star break when Senga's back. That's when these guys can get the extra extended day of rest. I don't think playing around and doing something different in this series is the move. That's how I take it. And 2, what options do you really have in the bullpen outside of Daniel Nunez? Now you got Phil Maton, and then you got Edwin Diaz. Everybody else is just like, are you really itching to see them? I mean, Buto, I can probably put in that tier that I probably trust out of the pen, but it's like, am I really itching to see Jake Diekman relieving for a long man? Adrian Hauser as well, although he's been better in the bullpen, has had a couple of shaky, rough starts as of recent. No. We're not doing anything different. If these pitchers are dealing, you do not touch them unless they are on a predetermined pitch count like Christian Scott was. I'm not sure if he's going to be on one in game 2 right here to end the first half. But yeah, to answer your question, Rob, no, I'm not doing anything different. And I don't think that this team can afford to do anything different in that light.
I agree. Wait. So you don't want to see Ottavino?
Yeah, I want to see him in the booth, maybe talking Mets, not playing for the Mets.
Absolutely. All right, Heck. So let's lump the series with the Rockies, the starting pitching, the managing of the starting pitching, if they might do that a little bit more, knowing that they're going to need these guys in the second half, along with the bullpen. Link that all together for me, the last 3 games of the series, the last 3 games before the All-Star break.
Man, listen. You do whatever the hell it takes to win.
I agree.
That's how I see it. You do whatever the hell it takes to win. So you keep managing that way. I think that's pretty much how they've managed And like CP said, except for maybe the whole Scott situation, which is an organizational thing, whatever. And it's not just the Mets, guys. It's not just the Mets. You saw Paul Skeens today being taken out of a perfect game or no hitter, whatever the hell it was. You know what I'm saying? And this is one thing that I agree with CP. I mean, you guys don't see the back and forth that we have on behind the scenes and stuff. But there's one thing that I agree with CP, that the Mets are making moves, making decisions for the now and later. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean, to me at least, doesn't mean that they're not going to try to win now. But maybe you don't sacrifice this kid's health because you're trying to win. But I always take pause with stuff like that because, I mean, we've seen it with Steven Strasburg. The Nats try to protect them, during that whole run and all that. And how's that worked out? The dude still hasn't been able to, you know what I'm saying? Shit, you could go back to Jabba Chamberlain and the Yankees and the whole thing they did with him and ended up ruining it. You know what I'm saying? But I want to ask you guys this, though, because my thing right now is just like my whole beef. What I want to see this weekend is, bro, if you don't have to, don't use all the big horses in the same game. So I don't want to see tomorrow. Who the hell pitches tomorrow? Manai. Manai goes 5, and then tomorrow we got Budo, Nunez. Who else? I'll even throw in Maton and Diaz. You know what I mean? And then Saturday and Sunday we're scrambling because we don't got these guys or whatever. Like, try to make some matches as much as possible, but again, you want to try to maximize that day's game and try to win that game. But I do wonder when they get the 6-man rotation, takes care of itself, right? If Manaya comes in, Senga comes back, you plug him right in there with the 5 guys that are in there already. That's your 6-man rotation. But I do wonder with the way that they're using Budo, if they still plan to put him back as a starting pitcher, the way
That's
they kind of like
question.
trying to, because they don't use him for like every 3 or 4 days, which is like, where's Budo? Where's Budo? Bring him out here. And I think they're kind of shortened that lately. But I think still in the back of their mind is like, nah, we still want to keep this guy stretched out just in case somebody gets hurt, just in case of whatever. He's one of the first guys that we're throwing in there. And we don't want him to already been a short guy, somebody that's going every other day or every day, or even maybe a back-to-back, dare I say, because he's going 1 or 2 batters. I don't think they want to do that to him and his arm yet, because a little bit of thinking long-term, which I don't see anything wrong with that. That's why what we need is legit bullpen guys. But then again, listen, leave him in there the whole year if you have to. I don't want to see that kid go back to the minors. Like, he's earned himself a year-long spot on this team, you know what I'm saying, on this roster. But I do wonder about that with him. And as far as this series, I'm a greedy bastard. That's why I'm fat as hell. So I want to obviously go out there and win this series. Now we've won 3. I want to go out there and sweep this damn series. I think I was one of you. I don't know who, but for some reason I feel like we talked about it. We said it's unrealistic. Maybe it was in our chat to expect to go 6-0, 5-1. So 4-2 is acceptable. Whatever. We already got 3 with 3 games left. I don't need just one more. I want at least 2. And damn it, once I get those 2, I want 3. Yeah. So if you give me those 2 first, I'm gonna want that 3rd one. And let's just see this team keep doing what it's doing, keep finding ways to win. I don't know if you asked me all of those things combined, and I'm trying to put it all together because
it's fine. Go ahead.
But we're about to shut it down. Because I don't want to do my close if it's not the close.
No, it's cool.
Then I have a close. But
here's my thing with this series. We're gonna have a couple of days off because of the All-Star break, right? There ain't nobody going to the All-Star game except for Pete Alonso. So you got the whole bullpen to rest up. The starters. Guess what? All hands on deck. You use everybody you need to in every game to win the ball game. That's it. I don't want to hear about rest, innings, pitches. I don't care. They're gonna have 4 or 5 days off after that day anyway. So let's go. All hands on deck. I don't care if it's the Rockies. It's baseball. Shit happens. They can beat us just like we can beat them, right? Nobody goes 162-0, right? Bad teams most of the time win 60 games. So you got to be careful. These teams the Mets are rolling high right now. Everybody's talking about the Mets around baseball, talking about the Mets. You don't think I know the Rockies suck, but you don't think they want to come into Citi Field and beat us up? Of course they do. Of course they do. So all hands on deck. Do what you got to do. Use every arm possible. You got to use them multiple days. That's why you got the All-Star break to rest these guys. That's what I think when it comes to this series. So we're going to do this really quick. So we got a couple of minutes left. So everybody needs to go do what they got to do. Quote unquote Mets hot stove, Hector's favorite topic. So look, we're not going to go deep into this because it's the end of the show. And we'll go a couple of weeks from now. When we really get closer to the deadline, we'll talk a hell of a lot more, probably the whole show about it. But
hold on, Rob. Hold on. Because I need to know, bro. I need to know who you are, Anthony. I need to know who you are. You've been popping up in my streams. Huh?
He's
a Yankee fan, right? Because I want to know if it's an Anthony that I interact with that is a Met fan. And when we were all upset, he was upset. But right now, dude, like you come into all these streams and it's just zinger after zinger after zinger after zinger, and you sound like Joe or Bobby, bro. Like, what's going on? So please, I texted you. I don't know if you responded yet. I need to know if you're this Anthony because we need to talk. We need to talk. Anyways, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah. So look, it's going to be pretty quick here, right? The Mets hot stove. Look, is it heating up yet? Not yet, right? We know what the Mets need, right? It's bullpen, and probably more bullpen. That's what they're going to need at the deadline. Like, things can change. Maybe they'll go after another bench piece, another bench bat. I think Chris brought that up in the post game. They might do something like that to get DJ Stewart the hell out of here. And maybe you can, get a bullpen on with a bench piece and it works like that. Maybe it'll work out like that. But quickly, Chris and Hector, for the final thoughts along with the bullpen situation. How many arms do you think they're going to need at the deadline? Because that's a hard question to answer. But I just thought I'd bring it up to you guys for the ending of the show and final thoughts.
I'll say 2. 1 for sure. I think 2 though, because I told you in the post game that the current personnel that they have in terms of being viable for a starting rotation spot versus a bullpen spot is going to be something that directly sort of is relevant to round out that 6-man rotation, like Hector just said, whether it's Jose Butto or whether you move a guy like Sean Manaea at some point to the bullpen. So just by virtue of the crowdedness that the Mets still have with these guys, which is also why I was kind of curious in terms of having a conversation surrounding Manaea or Quintana, like, you might have to trade one of these guys at some point just to clear room for a roster spot. Now, that's not the answer everyone wants to hear. That's a future problem. But with as crowded as this room is, you got a couple of guys that are long man guys in the bullpen like Butto and Hauser. You got your mainstays in your Maton now, your Daniel Nunez, and your Edwin Diaz. Like, how much room does this team really have to bring on multiple arms? So I will say 2, under the assumption that one of these arms on this roster is going to just get DFA'd or just traded outright. I don't know who the name is. I don't know what the name is. That's kind of why I was like on that Quintana train, even though he's been starting to pitch better. I was like, he could be the odd man out because Sean Manaea has just been just as impressive as of recent. Or it could just be Sean Manaea, but then you're losing that ability to move into the bullpen. So 1, for damn sure, right? I really like that Angels pitcher. Estevez, I believe his name is. I really like that target if I had to name one off the top of my head. Or if they go a lefty, I know in-division trading is not really the best and it's not really reliable because you don't know what they're going to want in return. But Tanner Scott, I mean, he's having a hell of a season for the Miami Marlins. That's a little bit more out there compared to like an Estevez, where you know the Angels and Mets have had deals in prior seasons and they might have that established relationship. But yeah, give me one arm, but I have to I wish I could just understand what the forward thinking movement is for this rotation. Unfortunately, we don't know if Butto is going to be in the bullpen versus the rotation. We don't know what the plan is for Sean Manaea, etc. And that's kind of where we're at. 1 for sure, 2 max, I would say.
All right, Heck, what do you got with that? How many bullpen arms and final thoughts?
I think for me, with the whole how many, it's not even about how many, and I'm sure as hell not gonna give you any names. These guys are much better than me at that. I don't have time. I just don't have time right now to stay abreast to everything what the hell everybody's going on and who's available, who's not available. I'm all over the place. But I can tell you this. To me, is more about definitely we should get another lefty, right? Should definitely get another lefty. And I don't think I was gonna wait till the end and shout out Steven because he was saying we got a DFA Otto and Diekman. And I was gonna like, I still as frustrated as I've been with Diekman, I think in the right role he can be okay, right? And we probably overworked him a little bit, just like Reed Garrett, who we see now is on the IL and all that stuff. So to me, it's more about the quality of arm, right? We've been having a revolving door of arm through the minors, through DFAs, through all of this nonsense, and we just haven't been able to find quality arms, right? Hopefully, we got one already in Maton. So we could say we already got one. If you say two, we got one, maybe not. We'll see. Today he looked good, right? But if he seems to be, if he turns out to be a quality arm, right, like he showed today, and we use him in the right spot, we don't have to overexpose him or whatever the case, or ask him to do too much, whatever. And we get maybe one, maybe two other, whatever it is. We just need quality arms that helps maybe move guys into better spots, right? CP mentioned Hauser before. Hauser's been good. Hauser was horrible as a starter. Horrible as a starter. We all wanted him out of there. I couldn't believe why they were even trying to, just from looking at the numbers. And then as the season started out, it's like, what are we doing here? What are we waiting for? They finally did that, and he was good. But I think Hauser's good as that. I forget how you put it before, CP, but you said like Buto's not that guy that's just coming up in as mop-up duty. And I'm not saying that Hauser should just be mop-up duty because he's shown to come in even, when we just need somebody to give us a couple of innings and keep the game where it's at. And he's been good at that. But early on in the games, I think once we get into eighth inning, and it's just a little much for him. I don't know. He doesn't have the temperament for it. And he'll come in and do it every now and then, but we don't want to use him there too much. But because we don't have quality arms, we've had to put him there. Even Reed Garrett, whose success this year started in the spot that I'm talking about Adrian Hauser in right now, right? But we've had to move him deeper into game where even he became our closer. And he did okay. But then we asked him to do more than one inning, 5-out save for too much. And I'm not convinced whether he has the temperament to pitch in that point of the game. Now you talk to me about Daniel Nunez? Hell yeah. I think he has a temperament for that. But again, if we keep bringing quality arms so that we can put these guys in better spots, it may not be about needing 2 or 3 arms. It may just be one more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's the more important thing is the quality of the arm that we get. As far as closing thoughts, I think I already said it before. I want to see this team go out there, take another series, finish on a high note. The offense to continue to do what it's doing. Keep scoring runs. Keep passing the baton. I would love to see, I forget who it was before here. Maybe I can find it real quick. Oh, wrong screen for the touch screen. Oops, heck. This is the touch screen, but it's not there. Anyways, somebody said before, screw Pete. I'm not going to use the language they used. Screw Pete. I got like 7 days betting on him to hit a home run, and he hasn't hit a home run. He hasn't hit a home run. So, listen, I feel you. Because I don't do that all the time. I don't do it every day. But our gut feels and stuff like that on some like, yo, Pete is due. I have done it in the last 7 days a couple of times, and he hasn't done it. So, Pete, you're going to the freaking home run derby, right? We're not even happy you're going to this crap, first of all. And I'm not even somebody that hates the home run derby, but let's be honest. We weren't totally behind Pete being our lone all-star selection. We're being honest here. We weren't totally happy. And we sure as hell are not happy that now we know for sure he was a commissioner's choice. So it wasn't like he was a player's vote, a coach. He was a commissioner's choice. We know what you was doing, Manfred.
Yeah.
Right? You want to sell this damn home run derby. I get it. I enjoy the home run derby. I'm talking all this nonsense right now. I'll be there Monday night watching. I probably won't watch the game because I said, unless Nemo and freaking Lindor get on there some way, somehow, and even though it's cheap now because it'll be injury replacement, but damn it, if I see one more injury replacement not named Brandon Nemo, I'm going to be upset.
Correct.
I'm going to be upset. So, let me see these guys keep going, but I would love to see Pete Alonso take off. Give me 3 home runs this weekend, dude. Put the team on your back like Nemo's done. Put the team on your back. Give my guy Nimmo a break. Let him still do his thing because he's gonna do his thing. I'm saying give Lindor a little bit of a break. How about you and JD, who started to heat up again the last couple of days? Maybe with Francisco Alvarez, give us a weekend, right? Give us a weekend and give me like 3 home runs this weekend, maybe 4. Alvarez, give me 2. You've been all right. The numbers look good, but I need a little bit more from Alvarez too at the plate. But I love his leadership. I love what he's doing with the pitching. And one last thing, guys, because I don't know if I mentioned it on the roundtable or maybe one of my lives. And I'm sorry, guys, but I don't give people credit. It's not because I don't want to. There's too much shit in my brains. And I'm just getting old, I guess. I'm forgetting stuff. I worry about that all the time. I'm about to lose my memory. Finish me. If I don't remember things, I know my family probably don't want to hear this. And if you're watching, I love you guys too. But I don't want to be a vegetable. Finish me. Anyways, gosh, I shouldn't say that. That's horrible.
Jesus.
God.
The Mets are winning. Shit.
The Mets. Damn, what the hell was I going to say? Oh my gosh. What the hell was I talking about? P. Alvarez, these guys. Anyways, let's go Mets, man.
All right, guys. So
I'll think about it as you guys finish it up.
The finished the roundtable today.
Satisfied, Junior. Satisfied with Satisfied with what? Because we finally got over 500. Listen, one thing I haven't said today. What's thing that I kept talking about? If you take 5 steps forward, don't take 4 back, and damn sure as hell don't take 6 or 7 backwards. That's one thing that this team has done. Yes. They took 1 step back, and the whole time they took 1 step back. I forget exactly when this last week. I was like, okay, this is a step back. 1. That's fine. Besides that, it's been little stumbles, little slowdowns, or whatever the case may be. I just remember because I saw Alvarez's name. I said this before. We see how all the pitchers talk about how they love Alvarez. We know Diaz loves him, Quintana, all of that stuff. We know he's able to bring Manaya in and get something out of him. I talk about all these podcasts. I was actually watching Maldonado doing one of these Spanish podcasts, and he talked about how you got to know your pitchers, how some guys you got to go out there sometimes, and because they're mellow and doesn't matter, the whole world could be crumbling around them. The whole stadium is falling apart, and they chill. Doesn't matter. Sometimes you like, yo, wake up. This is a big spot. I need you to wake up. You know what I'm saying? So we know Alvarez is able to do that with maybe like a guy like Manaya, who we see that he's a playful guy, whatever. Damn it! Why am I gonna lose my? Oh, Severino's the only guy. I'm sorry, CP's like, this guy is fucking nuts. I am, you know that. Severino's the only guy that I believe still calls his pitches. Right? You see, he's the one with the little shit. He puts it in the belt most of the time. Mm-hmm. He has it in here, boop, and he calls the pitches. And I wonder why. Does he not trust Alvy? You know what I'm saying? And sometimes he's like, and the reason why I say that too, because I saw somebody, I forget who it was, that brought up like, why is that Severino is the only guy that doesn't seem to be clicking with Alvarez as far as like pitch selection and stuff like that. And I'm like, do you guys realize that Severino's the only one that really calls his pitches? He's the one with the pitch com thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he's pitching well, so I guess it's working. Why change it if you don't have to? But right. Yeah, to finish this out, the Mets are hot. They took the sweep. They took 3 in a row from the Nats on this homestand. It's obvious what they got to do next. They got to finish the first half strong. 2 out of 3 at least. Get a little greedy, sweep, have a 6-0 homestand, and look, you win the next 3 games. You're 5 games over 500. Who would have thought that? You'd be 50-55. I mean, damn, that sounds damn good. But still got a lot of work to do. 47-45, 6-4 in the last 10. Swept the Nats. Rockies are coming to town. Take care of business. Hector said it. Pete Alonso, Alvarez, these guys need to be stepping up. I want to see some power from these guys. And power when it matters. With runners on base. Let those guys step up offensively. Put this team on your back for a weekend. How about that? Lindor, Nimmo, JD, they basically all done it. It's about time that Alonso does it and Alvarez does it now. With that said, guys, another Mets roundtable in the books. Hector, CP, myself. Always a good time with this roundtable. Everybody in the chat. Over 250 on my streams and X. Hector, I don't know how many you got, but it's a hell of a lot of people. We love the support. Keep on coming back for more.
Thank you.
You know what? When we come back from the All-Star break, we'll talk more freaking Mets and more
Yes,
Mets.
good Met stuff.
Yes.
Hey, one last thing.
Go.
Because my guy Junior likes to talk a lot of trash. Heck wants more. You damn right I want more. Imagine, guys, if we would have settled when we were struggling and say, you know what? The front office said that they wasn't really looking to 2024. This is a transition year. This is that crap, baby. Never settle. Like I said before, if you settle to just try to be a wild card, there's a good chance you might find yourself out of a damn fucking playoff. No, you always set your sights high. And I know, listen, and you always take into account how your team is or whatever. The point is, no, always want more. We wanted more from these guys, and they're giving us more, and we're having freaking fun. You know why? Because we knew they could give us more. They knew they could give us more.
Agreed.
Francisco Lindor told us every day, but I was called a hater. I can be better. Well, when he's been better, like we all expected, the team has been better. We knew Brandon Nimble could be better. When he's been better, the team has been better. So no, we're never gonna settle. We're never gonna settle. And I know you don't settle either, Junior. So stop playing.
And speaking of not settling,
we want more, damn it. Yeah, we want more.
Speaking of not settling, to end this up, Braves, we're coming for you. Atlanta Braves,
Yes.
we're coming for you.
I'm not happy with just getting the last wild card.
That's right.
No.
How about that number one
and
wild
if the Philly stumble, will come for your asses
Let's
too.
Let's go. So with that said, guys, another Mets roundtable in the books. Appreciate all the support, guys. We'll see you next time. Let's go, Mets. 3 more games to go into the All-Star break. Let's get those wins, baby. See you next time, guys. Have a great night. Let's go, Mets.
I love GM.